You're scrolling again, aren't you? Thumb flicking through an endless cascade of headlines, videos, posts, each one screaming for your attention. Your eyes dart from a news alert about a global crisis to a life hack promising to 10x your productivity, then to some influencer's hot take on a topic you didn't even care about 5 seconds ago. Your mind feels like it's sprinting, but you're standing still. You're consuming, absorbing, drowning in information, yet at the end of the day, when the screen dims and the silence creeps in, you're left with a gnawing question. What do I actually know? Not what you've read, not what you've been told, but what you know, deep in your bones, tested by your own reasoning, sharpened by your own experience. If you're honest, the answer is humbling. It's not much. And that's not your fault. It's by design. The world tells you that more information equals more knowledge. It's a seductive promise. Just keep reading, keep watching, keep clicking, and you'll unlock the secrets to success, happiness, truth. But pause for a moment. Look at your life. You're bombarded with facts, opinions, and data, more than any human in history has ever faced. Yet are you wiser? Are you freer? Or do you feel like a hamster on a wheel, chasing fragments of meaning that dissolve the moment you grasp them? This is the great deception, the belief that information is knowledge. It's a lie that keeps you tethered to a system that thrives on your distraction, your confusion, your endless consumption. And it's time to rip the veil off. Let's start with the lie itself. The idea that amassing information, facts, stats, articles, TED Talks, will make you knowledgeable is rooted in a modern myth, the cult of access. We're told that because we can know everything, we should know everything. The internet is your library, your university, your oracle. Google any question and an answer appears. Watch a YouTube tutorial and you're an expert. But this is a sleight of hand. Information is raw material, chaotic, unfiltered, often contradictory. Knowledge, on the other hand, is something else entirely. It's the hard-won result of sifting through the noise, questioning what you're fed, and forging your own understanding through reflection and action. Information is passive, knowledge is active. And the system, it loves to keep you passive. Think about how this lie took root. In the 19th century, as Nietzsche gazed into the abyss of modern society, he warned of a world where people would become slaves to systems of control disguised as progress. He called it slave morality, a mindset where the weak, the obedient, cling to external rules and truths to feel secure, while those in power dictate what counts as good or true. Fast forward to today, and the explosion of information has become the perfect tool for this. The printing press, the radio, the internet, each promised liberation through access. But what's happened instead? The powerful, corporations, algorithms, governments curate what you see. They don't need to censor you, they just need to overwhelm you. 1,000 voices shouting at once ensure you never hear your own. Nietzsche's insight cuts deeper here. He argued that true knowledge isn't handed to you. It's wrestled from the world through what he called the will to power. Not power over others, but power over yourself. The courage to question, to create, to define your own values. But the information age sabotages this. It floods you with prepackaged truths, each one designed to keep you clicking, buying, complying. The algorithm knows you better than you know yourself. It feeds you what you want to hear, not what you need to question. And so you're trapped in a cycle of consumption, mistaking breadth for depth, quantity for quality. Let's make this real. Picture two people. One, a diligent worker who spends hours every day reading articles, watching news, scrolling X, trying to stay informed. They know the latest headlines, the trending debates, the viral memes. They're informed. Now picture another, someone who reads less, scrolls less, but spends their time wrestling with a single idea. Say, how to live with purpose. They journal, they experiment, they fail, they reflect. They don't know what's trending, but they know themselves. Which one is truly knowledgeable? The first might win a trivia night. The second might change the world. Yet, society rewards the first. It calls them well-read, up-to-date, while the second is dismissed as impractical, out of touch. That's the lie at work. Now, let's peel back another layer. Who benefits from this deception? Not you. The more you're buried in information, the less time you have to think critically, to act decisively, to live deliberately. The beneficiaries are those who control the flow. Tech giants, advertisers, politicians. They profit from your attention, your clicks, your outrage. Every article you read, every video you watch, every post you like, it's data, it's revenue, it's power. And they're not just selling you products, they're selling you narratives. The narrative that you need to know everything. The narrative that you're not enough without the latest app, the latest course, the latest update. They keep you chasing shadows because a distracted mind is a controllable mind. Contrast this with the alternative. Imagine a life where you're not a sponge, soaking up every bite of data, but a sculptor, chiseling away the excess to reveal something true. This is what Nietzsche meant when he urged us to become who you are. Not a consumer of information, but a creator of meaning. But the system doesn't want sculptors. It wants sponges, docile, predictable, profitable. And it's designed to keep you that way. The notifications, the pop-ups, the endless scroll, they're not accidents. They're chains. So why does this feel so hard to break free from? Because the lie is insidious. It's woven into the fabric of your daily life. You're told that staying informed is a virtue, a duty. If you don't know the latest news, the latest trend, you're failing as a citizen, a worker, a human. But let's be honest. Most of what you're consuming isn't knowledge. It's noise. It's trivia masquerading as insight, distraction dressed up as progress. And the more you chase it, the further you drift from what matters. Let's ground this in philosophy again. Nietzsche's concept of the herd is painfully relevant here. He described most people as part of a herd, blindly following the crowd, accepting shared beliefs without question. The herd doesn't think. It conforms. And today's information overload is the perfect pasture for the herd. You're not encouraged to question the flood of data. You're encouraged to swim in it, to like, to share, to react. The herd doesn't sculpt meaning, it grazes on content. And the moment you start to question, to step away, you feel the pull of the herd's judgment. You're out of the loop. You're ignorant. You're missing out. But what are you really missing? The chance to be another cog in a machine that profits from your confusion? Now let's talk about the consequences. The lie that information equals knowledge doesn't just waste your time, it erodes your agency. Every hour spent scrolling is an hour not spent creating, reflecting, or building something real. It's not just your attention they're stealing, it's your potential. And it's not just individuals who suffer. Societies built on information overload become fragile. When everyone's drowning in data, no one's thinking deeply. We argue over headlines, not ideas. We react, not reason. Look at the world today. Polarization, outrage, confusion. These aren't bugs in the system, they're features. A divided, distracted populace is easier to control. But here's the twist. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as intended. The just world fallacy, the belief that the world is fair, that hard work and good intentions always win, keeps you tethered to the lie. You think, if I just read more, learn more, I'll get ahead. But the game is rigged. The diligent worker, the one who follows the rules, stays informed, does everything right, they're not the ones who rise. It's the manipulators, the ones who understand the system's true currency, attention, influence, power. They don't drown in information, they wield it. This is where the awakening begins. You start to see the lie for what it is, not a path to knowledge, but a barrier. You realize that true knowledge isn't found in the noise, it's found in the silence, in the space you carve out to think, to question, to create. Nietzsche called this the path of the overman, the one who rises above the herd, who dares to define their own truth. It's not about rejecting information entirely, it's about mastering it, about choosing what deserves your attention and letting the rest fall away. So what does this look like in practice? It starts with redefining power. The world tells you power is having the most followers, the most likes, the most knowledge of current events. But real power is sovereignty over your mind. It's the ability to say, "This doesn't serve me," and walk away. It's the discipline to focus on what matters, your values, your goals, your truth. It's the courage to be misunderstood, to be out of the loop, because you know the loop is a trap. Let's contrast this again. The informed person, the one who knows every headline, every trend, they're a prisoner of the present. They react to the world's rhythm, not their own. Now, the knowledgeable person, the one who seeks depth over breadth, they're free. They don't need to know everything, because they know what matters. They don't chase trends, they set them. They don't consume meaning, they create it. This is the shift you're being called to make. But how do you make this shift? It's not enough to see the lie, you have to act. And action begins with a choice, to stop being a passenger in your own mind. The first step is to reclaim your attention. Attention is your most precious resource, yet you give it away freely. Every notification, every click, every mindless scroll. Imagine if you treated your attention like gold, guarding it fiercely, spending it only on what aligns with your purpose. What could you build? What could you become? This is where Nietzsche's will to power becomes practical. It's not about dominating others, it's about dominating yourself. Start small, turn off notifications, set boundaries with your devices. Curate what you consume, not to stay informed, but to grow wiser. Read a book, not because it's trending, but because it challenges you. Journal your thoughts, not to post them, but to know them. Experiment with your life. Try, fail, learn. Knowledge isn't downloaded, it's earned. Next, question everything. The lie thrives because you've been taught to accept, not to interrogate. Every headline, every expert opinion, every viral post. Ask, who benefits from this? What are they trying to make me feel? What's the hidden agenda? This isn't cynicism, it's clarity. It's the difference between being a pawn and being a player. Nietzsche called this philosophizing with a hammer, smashing idols to see what's real. You don't need to reject everything, but you need to test everything. Now let's redefine virtue. The world tells you it's virtuous to be busy, to be informed, to be connected. But these are shackles disguised as medals. True virtue lies in focus, in courage, in creation. It's virtuous to say no to the noise. It's virtuous to prioritize your own growth over the world's demands. It's virtuous to build something, a skill, a legacy, a truth that outlives the fleeting trends. This is what it means to live deliberately. And here's the hardest part. You'll face resistance. The herd doesn't like stragglers. When you stop scrolling, stop reacting, stop conforming, you'll feel the weight of their judgment. Friends will call you aloof. Colleagues will call you out of touch. The algorithm will scream louder to pull you back. But this is the test. Freedom isn't comfortable, it's costly. Nietzsche knew this. He lived as an outcast, misunderstood, but unshackled. You don't need to be Nietzsche, but you need his resolve. To stand alone, not out of arrogance, but out of conviction. So, what's the call to action? It's not to burn your phone or delete your accounts, though you might. It's to live with intention. To decide what you stand for, what you'll fight for, and what you'll ignore. It's to stop chasing information and start crafting knowledge. To stop being a consumer and start being a creator. Every day you have a choice. To be a sponge, soaking up the world's noise, or a sculptor, shaping your own truth. The world will tell you to choose the former. It's easier, safer, more profitable for them. But you're not here to be easy. You're here to be extraordinary. Start today. Pick one idea, one question, one problem, one passion, and dive into it. Not with a Google search, but with your own mind. Reflect on it, test it, live it. Let the rest of the world's noise fade into the background. You don't need to know everything. You need to know what matters. And what matters is what you choose to make matter. This is your power. This is your freedom. This is your life. Take it back. You might be wondering, what if I get it wrong? What if I choose the wrong thing to focus on, the wrong truth to pursue? That fear is the lie's last defense. It wants you to stay paralyzed, to keep consuming instead of creating, because creation is risky. But here's the truth. There's no such thing as getting it wrong. Every step you take toward your own knowledge, every question you ask, every failure you face is a victory. You're not aiming for perfection. You're aiming for sovereignty, for a life that's yours, not the algorithm's. Let's end with a vision. Imagine waking up tomorrow, not to a barrage of notifications, but to a quiet mind. You sit with a single question. What do I want to understand today? Not what the world wants you to know, but what you want to know. You explore it, not with a screen, but with your thoughts, your experiences, your will. You fail, you learn, you grow. And at the end of the day, you're not exhausted. You're alive. You're not informed. You're wise. You're not a cog. You're a force. This is the life you were meant for. Not a life of endless scrolling, endless reacting, endless noise. A life of depth, of purpose, of power. The great deception wants you to believe that knowledge is out there, in the next article, the next video, the next post. But it's not. It's in you. It's been in you all along. All you have to do is claim it. So, stop scrolling. Stop consuming. Start creating. Start questioning. Start living. The world is waiting for you, not to follow it, but to lead it. Will you?